village， 所以他是特别有才的一个人，而且他特别有心意。He is a man of action, and he hopes to stop world hunger with his actions. All right, everybody, let's welcome Yank. Woo!
Hey, Jeunesse. I gotta see if the translators are working. How's everybody doing? Is everyone doing okay? They're working. They're working. I want to thank Wendy and Randy for inviting VitaPro and Propectin and Global Village into their wonderful Jeunesse project. We're going to do great and accomplish a lot together. Let me take you on a little trip on how we found the product Propectin you've been hearing about. I was with Muhammad Ali, my partner, and I'm not dropping names, he really is. And we heard that Muammar Gaddafi had just found 5 Bulgarian nurses and a Palestinian doctor to death for allegedly spreading AIDS in Libya. I flew there from 2006 to 2007, 7 trips. My last trip I was with Mrs. Sarkozy, who was President Sarkozy's wife in France. And I sat with Gaddafi, the press was there, and he liked to be called leader. And I said, leader, you have to do the right thing, you have to let these people go. And I don't know if it was all the trips I made or the pressure he was getting, but Gaddafi let the 5 nurses go and the Palestinian doctor free. Thank you. I was invited to Bulgaria by the Prime Minister of Bulgaria to receive the Medal of Honor, and I had a very bad diabetes reaction. I was a type 2 diabetic. And they told me there was a Dr. Khrushchev who had invented a product called Propectin. It wasn't called Propectin yet. And it reduced the sugar and all the heavy metals in the body. I went and I saw Dr. Khrushchev, and they told me to take blood tests. I took the blood tests, asked me to take the product for 30 days and come back, and my sugar would come down. I took the product for 33 or 34 days. I came back, and I found that I was no longer a diabetic. So I bought the company. Gets a little shaky after that because I went back home to the States and went and saw my doctor for blood tests, and he called me the next day. He said, you better come over to my office right away. Immediately I thought, oh, I just lost a house in the neighborhood because this stuff doesn't work. And I went to my doctor and he said, what have you been taking? I said, I've been taking this product, Propectin. He says, you're no longer a diabetic. So now we knew we had a great product. While this was happening, I was living at my home in Bangkok, and the Fukushima reactors blew up. I took a DC-3 and filled it up with water and medical supplies, and we went to Tokyo and ended up going into Fukushima. We couldn't get to Fukushima. We got to Sendai, and were able to distribute the food, and I came back to my home in Bangkok, and I had 3 emergency calls from Dr. Khrushchev. I called him, and he said, we hit the jackpot. I said, what jackpot? He said, Propectin. I said, I know, it reduces diabetes. No, that was a side effect of the product. He said, the product reduces cesium-137. And like most of you, I said, what is cesium-137? He said, you just got back from Japan. That's what happened when a nuclear reactor blows up. So I realized that we had an incredible product to save people. I'll tell you the good news and the bad news. The good news is the product works. It is the only soluble pharmaceutical grade pectin in the world. The bad news is it takes 250 kilograms of apples to make 1 kilo of Propectin. It's a very limited supply. So all I can tell you, I'm not here to sell it. Buy it while we have it. Jeunesse has the world rights. It's a product that does amazing things. And now let me take you to a couple of trips that I've done in the last year. I was in Chernobyl in January of this year. This is 26 years after the disaster in Chernobyl. For a 30-kilometer radius, there is not a leaf, no grass, no birds. Everything is dead. This is 26 years later for 30 kilometers. There are parts of Sweden, the UK, and other parts of Europe where everything is still dead. Fukushima, according to Dr. Helen Caldicott, the World Authority on Radiation, and Dr. Alexei Yablokov, was 10 times worse than Chernobyl. 100 times worse than the terrible disaster that happened in World War II in Hiroshima. We're dealing with a problem here where we're walking into a new world. This is not the same world we live in. Chernobyl was inland. Fukushima is on the water. The prevailing winds, the rain, and the water is moving the cesium-137 to the coast of, we won't even talk about Asia yet, to the coast of Hawaii, to the Pacific Northwest United States, and all over Asia. The biggest problem is history repeats itself. The Russian government initially said that 20,000 people had died because of Chernobyl. 3 years later, when Boris Yeltsin ran against Gorbachev for the election, he disclosed that over 2 million people had died. Even though he was with the same government, he won the election based on the fact that Gorbachev had lied to the public. TEPCO, which is the Tokyo Electric Power Corporation, is lying to the Japanese people. I was in Japan 6 times in the last 5 months. I speak to people every day. I was in Yonezawa, where the children's noses are bleeding. They're lethargic. Kids are dying. They're telling people you live in hot spots. And I ask a lot of my Japanese brothers and sisters, I said, do you know why you live in a hot spot? Have they opened discotheques or karaoke bars? And they go, no. I said, you live in a hot spot because the radiation is at very, very dangerous levels. When we went to Yonezawa on the bullet train, before we got on the train in Akasaka, the meters were reading 30 counts per minute. Does anyone here know what a normal count would be? It's 12. This is in Tokyo. When the doors opened in Fukushima on the way to Yonezawa, it was reading 100 counts per minute. We read an article in the newspaper just before I left that the 420 originals that went in, they called them the first responders, over a period of 10 months had all died of natural causes. How is this possible? They're lying. We're living in a very, very dangerous society. Putting aside cesium-137, the other things that are in the air, plutonium, the lead, fillings in your teeth, you don't realize until you go and understand what heavy metals do to the body, how dangerous it is. We're sitting here in a situation where we had many, many distributors around the world, conventional distributors who wanted this product. I met with Randy and Wendy, and they showed us that they had a vehicle in a very, very ethical company with ethical products, and they felt it would be the right way to sell it. And we agreed with them. I think you have a great opportunity to save a lot of lives. It's a wonderful product. And when you try it, you see it works. We're getting tremendous results now from oncologists around the world that are giving it to people after they have radiation and chemotherapy. It improves the quality of life within 3 or 4 days. Try the product. I think you have a tremendous opportunity here. It's a wonderful company with a wonderful product. And don't forget, I want to remind you, there's a great contest that we're having with 60 million in prizes. And we've taken 2 of the wonderful Degas and about 50 other gold records.